hi guys. In today's lesson, I'm going to talk about verbs in Spanish. This is the first part, so let's start. Alright, so this is our first verb in Spanish, okay? We have in English, eat. In Spanish, we're going to say comer, comer, comer. Now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish, comer, according to our personal pronouns, okay? Remember the personal pronouns, okay? Yo means I. Tú means you. Él means he. Ella means she. Eso means it. Nosotros means we. Ustedes means you in the plural form. Ellos or ellas means they. Remember ellos when we are referring to a group of men, or ellas, we're going to use it when we refer to a group of women, girls, okay? So let's start to see the conjugation in present simple, okay? We're going to see present simple. So we have yo como, that means I eat. Tú comes, you eat. Él come, he eats. Ella come, she eats. Eso come, it eats. Nosotros comemos, we eat. Ustedes comen, you eat in the plural form. Ellos o ellas comen, okay? That means they eat, okay? Just remember the personal pronouns in Spanish, and then we will see the conjugation of each verb in Spanish, okay? Now let's go to our next verb. We have talk. In English, in Spanish, we're going to say hablar, hablar, hablar. And now let's see the conjugation of this verb according to our personal pronouns. Okay, we have, check the pronunciation, yo hablo, tú hablas, él habla, ella habla, eso habla, nosotros hablamos, ustedes hablan, ellos o ellas, that means ellos or ellas, or means o, ellos o ellas hablan, okay? Now let's go to our next verb. We have say. In English means in Spanish, decir, decir, decir. Now let's check how we're going to conjugate this verb, decir, in Spanish, okay? We have yo digo, tú dices, él dice, ella dice, eso dice, nosotros decimos, ustedes dicen, ellos o ellas dicen. Now we have the verb listen, okay? In Spanish, we're going to say escuchar, escuchar, escuchar. And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish, escuchar. Yo escucho, tú escuchas, él escucha, ella escucha, eso escucha, nosotros escuchamos, ustedes escuchan, ellos o ellas escuchan. Now the next verb we have is read, okay? In Spanish, leer, leer, leer. And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish, okay? We have yo leo, tú lees, él lee, ella lee, eso lee, nosotros leemos, ustedes leen, ellos o ellas leen. So now the next verb we have is write, escribir, escribir, escribir in Spanish. Okay, now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb. In Spanish, we have yo escribo, tú escribes, él escribe, ella escribe, eso escribe, nosotros escribimos, ustedes escriben, ellos o ellas escriben. Now the next verb we have, paint. Okay, in Spanish, pintar, pintar, pintar. And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish, okay? Yo pinto, tú pintas, él pinta, ella pinta, eso pinta, nosotros pintamos, ustedes pintan, ellos pintan, or ellas pintan. Now the next verb we have is to draw, okay? Draw in Spanish means dibujar, dibujar, dibujar. And the conjugation of this verb, dibujar, in Spanish is yo dibujo, tú dibujas, él dibuja, ella dibuja, eso dibuja, nosotros dibujamos, ustedes dibujan, ellos o ellas dibujan. Now the next verb we have is to color something, colorear in Spanish, okay? And we're going to conjugate this verb in this form. We have yo coloreo, tú coloreas, él colorea, ella colorea, eso colorea, nosotros coloreamos, ustedes colorean, ellos o ellas colorean. Now the next verb we have is sleep, dormir, dormir, dormir in Spanish, okay? And we're going to conjugate this verb in this way. Yo duermo, tú duermes, él duerme, ella duerme, eso duerme, nosotros dormimos, ustedes duermen, ellos o ellas duermen. Now we have this verb, soñar, soñar, soñar. Okay, that means dream. And we're going to conjugate this verb, soñar, in this way in Spanish. Yo sueño, tú sueñas, él sueña, ella sueña, eso sueña, nosotros soñamos, ustedes sueñan, ellos o ellas sueñan. Now the next verb we have is beber or tomar. Okay, we can use these two forms when we're talking about drinking something, okay? Drink. Beber or tomar in Spanish. We're going to see those two forms, okay? So let's see how we're going to conjugate these two forms of the verb drink. We have yo bebo, tú bebes, él bebe, ella bebe, eso bebe, nosotros bebemos, ustedes beben, ellos o ellas beben. Okay, now we're going to conjugate the verb tomar. Okay, this is a synonym, but also tomar can mean in Spanish to take something. Okay, to take also means tomar, okay? So if we are referring to drink or also to take something, we can use this verb, tomar, okay? Tomar, this form. It can mean drink or take. Okay, let's see the conjugation. Yo tomo, tú tomas, él toma, ella toma, eso toma, nosotros tomamos, ustedes toman, ellos toman. Okay, so remember, tomar means to drink or also to take something, okay? Now the next verb we have is to hit someone or to beat someone. That means in Spanish, golpear, golpear, golpear. Now let's see the conjugation of this verb in Spanish, okay? Golpear, we have yo golpeo, tú golpeas, él golpea, ella golpea, eso golpea, nosotros golpeamos, ustedes golpean, ellos o ellas golpean. Now we have move, okay? That means mover, mover, mover in Spanish. Now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish. We have yo muevo, tú mueves, él mueve, ella mueve, eso mueve, nosotros movemos, ustedes mueven, ellos o ellas mueven. Now the next verb we have is to bite, okay? That means morder, morder, morder in Spanish. And we're going to conjugate this verb in this form. According to our personal pronouns, we have yo muerdo, tú muerdes, él muerde, ella muerde, eso muerde, nosotros mordemos, ustedes muerden, ellos o ellas muerden. Now we have the verb believe. In Spanish, creer, creer, creer. And we're going to conjugate this verb in this form, okay, in Spanish. Yo creo, tú crees, él cree, ella cree, eso cree, nosotros creemos, ustedes creen, ellos o ellas creen. Now we have the verb grow, to grow, okay? That means in Spanish, crecer, crecer, crecer. And we're going to conjugate this verb according to our personal pronouns in this way. We have yo crezco, tú creces, él crece, ella crece, eso crece, nosotros crecemos, ustedes crecen, ellos o ellas crecen. Now we have the verb study. In Spanish, estudiar, estudiar, estudiar. And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish. Yo estudio, tú estudias, él estudia, ella estudia, eso estudia, nosotros estudiamos, ustedes estudian, ellos o ellas estudian. Now we have this verb, smile, okay? That means in Spanish, sonreír, sonreír, sonreír. And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb, okay? Yo sonrío, tú sonríes, Él sonríe. Ella sonríe. Eso sonríe. Nosotros sonreímos. Ustedes sonríen. Ellos o ellas sonríen. Now we have this verb, to laugh. Okay, that means in Spanish, reír, reír, reír. And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish. Okay, we have yo río, tú ríes, él ríe, ella ríe, eso ríe, nosotros reímos, ustedes ríen, ellos o ellas ríen. The next verb is encender. That means to light something, or prender. That means to turn on something, okay? Turn on the lights, turn on the TV, okay? So let's see those two meanings of these verbs in Spanish, okay? According to encender, to light, we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish in this way. Yo enciendo. Tú enciendes. Él enciende. Ella enciende. Eso enciende. Nosotros encendemos. Ustedes encienden. Ellos o ellas encienden. Okay? Encender, to light something. Now, according to the verb turn on in English, in Spanish it means prender. Okay, to turn on the lights, to turn on the TV, prender. So we're going to conjugate this verb in this form in Spanish. Yo prendo. Tú prendes. Él prende. Ella prende. Eso prende. Nosotros prendemos. Ustedes prenden. Ellos o ellas prenden. Now this is our next verb. We have bark. Okay, that means ladrar, ladrar, ladrar in Spanish. Now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb ladrar in Spanish according to our personal pronouns. Okay, we have yo ladro, tú ladras, él ladra, ella ladra, eso ladra, nosotros ladramos, ustedes ladran, ellos o ellas ladran. Now the next verb we have is cry. That means llorar in Spanish. Llorar, llorar, llorar. This is the way we're going to conjugate this verb, okay? Yo lloro, tú lloras, él llora, ella llora, eso llora, nosotros lloramos, ustedes lloran, ellos o ellas lloran. Now the next verb we have is teach, okay? That means enseñar in Spanish. Also, you can use this word in Spanish as to show something, okay? It means to show or to teach. And now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb, okay? We have yo enseño, tú enseñas, él enseña, ella enseña, eso enseña, nosotros enseñamos, ustedes enseñan, ellos o ellas enseñan. Now we have this verb, see, that means ver in Spanish. Ver, ver, ver. And this is a conjugation of this verb, ver. Yo veo. Tú ves. Él ve. Ella ve. Eso ve. Nosotros vemos. Ustedes ven. Ellos o ellas ven. Now we have this verb play. In Spanish, jugar. 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 And the way we're going to conjugate this verb jugar in Spanish is yo juego. Tú juegas. Él juega. Ella juega. Eso juega. Nosotros jugamos. Ustedes juegan. Ellos o ellas juegan. Now we have this verb to spit. Escupir in Spanish, okay? Escupir. 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 And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish, okay? Yo escupo. Tú escupes. Él escupe. Ella escupe. Eso escupe. Nosotros escupimos. Ustedes escupen. Ellos o ellas escupen. Now the next verb we have is to vomit or to puke. Okay, that means in Spanish, vomitar. 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 And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb vomitar in Spanish, okay? Yo vomito. Tú vomitas. Él vomita. Ella vomita. Eso vomita. Nosotros vomitamos. Ustedes vomitan. Ellos o ellas vomitan. Now we have this verb, drive. In Spanish, manejar. 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 And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb, manejar, in Spanish according to our personal pronouns. Okay, we have yo manejo, tú manejas, él maneja, ella maneja, eso maneja, nosotros manejamos, ustedes manejan, ellos o ellas manejan. Now the next verb we have is put. Okay, that means poner. Poner. Poner in Spanish, okay? And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish. Yo pongo. Tú pones. Él pone. Ella pone. Eso pone. Nosotros ponemos. Ustedes ponen. Ellos o ellas ponen. Now we have this verb, cut. Okay, that means cortar. 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 And this is the word we're going to conjugate this verb, cortar, in Spanish. Yo corto. Tú cortas. Él corta. Ella corta. Eso corta. Nosotros cortamos. Ustedes cortan. Ellos o ellas cortan. Now we have this verb, pegar. Pegar. In this case, this verb, pegar in Spanish, has two meanings, okay? This is the first one, to paste something, pegar, okay? And the other meaning is to hit someone, okay? To punch someone on the face. So it means to punch or it means to paste something, okay? So let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb, pegar, in Spanish. Yo pego. Tú pegas. Él pega. Ella pega. Eso pega. Nosotros pegamos. Ustedes pegan. Ellos o ellas pegan. Now we have this verb to cough. Cough. Okay, that means in Spanish, toser. 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 And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb toser in Spanish. Yo toso. Tú toses. Él tose. Ella tose. Eso tose. Nosotros tosemos. Ustedes tosen. Ellos o ellas tosen. Now we have this verb, sneeze. Okay, achoo. Estornudar. 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 In Spanish. Okay, now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb estornudar in Spanish. We have yo estornudo. Tú estornudas. Él estornuda. Ella estornuda. Eso estornuda. Nosotros estornudamos. Ustedes estornudan. Ellos o ellas estornudan. Now we have this verb, kiss. Okay, in Spanish it means besar. 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 Now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb, besar, in Spanish. Okay, we have yo beso, tú besas, él besa, ella besa, eso besa, nosotros besamos, ustedes besan, ellos o ellas besan. Now we have this verb in English, feel. In Spanish, sentir. 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 And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb, sentir, in Spanish. Yo siento. Tú sientes. Él siente. Ella siente. Eso siente. Nosotros sentimos. Ustedes sienten. Ellos o ellas sienten. Now we have this verb, pray. Okay, in Spanish, rezar. 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 And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb, rezar, in Spanish. Yo rezo. Tú rezas. Él reza. Ella reza. Eso reza. Nosotros rezamos. Ustedes rezan. Ellos o ellas rezan. Now the next verb we have is to greet. Greet, okay? It means in Spanish, saludar. 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 Now let's see how we're going to conjugate this verb, saludar. Okay, we have yo saludo. Tú saludas. Él saluda. Ella saluda. Eso saluda. Nosotros saludamos. Ustedes saludan. Ellos o ellas saludan. Now we have this verb, close. In Spanish, cerrar. 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 And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb in Spanish. Yo cierro. Tú cierras. Él cierra. Ella cierra. Eso cierra. Nosotros cerramos. Ustedes cierran. Ellos o ellas cierran. Now our next verb is open, okay? That means abrir in Spanish. Abrir, abrir, abrir. And this is the way we're going to conjugate this verb abrir in the simple present form, okay? We have yo abro, tú abres, él abre, ella abre, eso abre, nosotros abrimos, ustedes abren, ellos o ellas abren. So that would be all for today's lesson. I really hope it helped you. I will be uploading the next part of verbs next week, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!